All right, officially off and running, up early and rolling on a Saturday, 10 minutes after 9 on the West Coast, 10 minutes afternoon back east. Welcome to the Krug Show, brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. We're going to do a little precursor. What do we got going today? We got a radio show on KMBR from 10 to 11 for 49er Forecast. The great Todd Husak is going to stop by. And we're going to do a little precursor, a little preview going into that hour. So join me. I don't do a lot of solo streams, but I do on a Saturday. We may even take some calls. Come aboard. Let's go. Welcome to the Krug Show, brought to you by Pig and a Pickle. The best barbecue in all of Northern California is Pig and a Pickle. We were just there last Sunday for the Krug Show meet and greet, and it was epic. And thanks to all of you guys for coming out. We had about 100 people show up in Corte Madera for the Krug Show meet and greet. Just watched some football, ate some barbecue, hung out, gave away some Krug Show merch. One lucky guy, courtesy of Anthony Catania and Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles, was given the Ricky Pearsall autographed mini helmet, which represents Ricky Pearsall's mini performance. No, I'm just joking. But anyway, congratulations to the person who got that. Congratulations to all the people who came out and got prizes, and congratulations to Pig and a Pickle for opening a third location in Petaluma. It's coming later this year in 2026, and we're really excited to be a part of the growth of this incredible restaurant. So thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to our good friends at Sharp Corners, Sports Cards and Collectibles. The great Anthony Catania is at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California, on the Monterey Peninsula, and you can reach him at 831-521-5264. We'll tell you a little bit about Sleeper and maybe even a little Habbas Law before we get out of here. But let's just jump right into it. The Niners ought to win this game. Niners ought to win this game. I mean, it's like, if the Niners don't win this game, we got major, major problems. They got to win this game. This team that they're playing has got 2 wins. So you got to win this game. I mean, it's really as simple as that. I mean, we could sit there and I could pour over a million different angles on this thing, and I'll definitely hit a few here this morning. But bottom line is, doesn't matter what it looks like. Doesn't matter if it's high scoring. Doesn't matter if it's low scoring. Doesn't matter if it's a wire-to-wire job. Doesn't matter if they come from behind. Doesn't. I feel like it's like a Dr. Seuss. I will eat that ham on a on a wall, bouncing a ball. Yes, I will, Sam. I am. Anyway, for those of you who grew up on Dr. Seuss, you know what I'm talking about. For the rest of you, you're like, Krug's having an episode. No, it's a Dr. Seuss. Just look it up. He was there's this thing called books, and it was, well, where do we start? Where do we even start? But the Niners are 9-4, third place in the NFC West. The Titans are 2-11, 2-11, but they are coming off a win, so they're looking for 2 in a row. They haven't won 2 in a row since November of 2022. I know, it's been a while. It's been a while. And I looked at their statistical profile, and I guess we could share the screen on this because it's pretty bleak. Look at this statistical breakdown on the Niners and the Titans. Here it is. Titans, points per game, 31st in the NFL, 15.5 points per game. Well, maybe it's just that they have a lot of yards. Well, no. 246.2 yards per game, 32nd in the NFL. By the way, 32nd is last. It's another way of saying last. Rushing offense, 31st in the NFL. Well, maybe they're a passing team. No, 31st in the NFL. Maybe they're really a good time of possession team. No, they possess the ball 25th in the NFL. Well, okay, they're not much on offense. But they got Jeffrey Simmons. What are they on D? Total defense, 26th. They give up 350 yards per game. Points allowed per game. Maybe they're just better in points than yards. No, they're 29th. They give up 27.5 points per game. Well, maybe they're good against the run. No, they're 18th against the run. Maybe they're better against the pass. No, they're 23rd against the pass. I mean, this team is bad. They're bad. The only thing that they definitely do better than the Niners is sack the quarterback. They've got twice as many sacks as the Niners. I mean, think about that for a second. The point of the game is points, right? The Niners are 13th in points allowed, or I should say 8th in points allowed per game. The Niners are top 10 defense as far as points allowed. The Titans are a bottom third defense, bottom tier, 29th out of 32 teams. Niners are 8th, all right? Look at that, and then look at the sacks. Niners have 16 sacks, and the Titans have double that. They have 32. They have twice as many sacks as the Niners, and yet they're 29th in points allowed, and the Niners are 8th. I mean, it really shows how Robert Saleh's defense, despite the lack of pressure up front, is getting it done across the board. Maybe they get a bunch of interceptions. No, they're 26th in interceptions. The Niners, by the way, are 28th. Well, maybe they're a good special teams team. No, they're 21st in punting average. The Niners, by the way, are 30th in punting average because they're pinning guys inside the 20. So the average for Thomas Morstead doesn't look very good. Well, maybe they're good at turnovers. That's how they're doing. No, they're -5. They're 25th in turnovers, turnover differential. So, I mean, win the game. Do you see what I'm saying? Win the game. It doesn't matter. No excuses are going to be acceptable. I don't want to hear about Cam Ward. Don't tell me about Tony Pollard. I don't want to hear about the greatness of Jeffrey Simmons. Don't tell me about this or that. Win the GD game and move on to Indy. It's really as simple as that. I don't care what it looks like. I don't think Shanahan cares what it looks like. But let's talk about this game. There's 3 ways to look at this game. You lose it, and you're a fraud. Your season's cooked. You're done. There's instant heat on the regime. I mean, I don't want to put that much importance into a Tennessee Titans Week 15 game, but you lose this game, and your world falls apart. I mean, there's so much more negative that can come from losing this game than positive from winning it, I think. I mean, you got to win it to just kind of keep pace in the playoff race. But you got Detroit coming up from behind. You got Dallas coming up from behind. You may miss the playoffs, even at 9-4. You may miss the playoffs. You got a 90% chance of making the playoffs. I think it goes up to like 95% if they win this game. But if you lose with 3 tough games staring you in the face, anything could happen. So the first thing is you got to win. That's number 1. Minimum, you got to win the game. Even if it looks bad, even if it costs you an injury, even if you wind up playing Kittle and CMC and Jennings to the 4th quarter and you're grinding it out at home against the 2-win Titans. No matter what, you got to win this game, number 1. Number 2 is you win, but you don't really improve your hand. Like what should the Niners use this game for? The same thing that Alabama uses midseason games against Mercer for. Tune up, get right, build confidence, try out new things, see if you can get your entire program rolling with momentum. How could the Niners do that? Well, if you look at the Niners statistically, and I'm not pointing blame, it's just it is what it is. They've used CMC, they've used Kittle, and they've used Jennings a lot, especially when they've been healthy. Kittle and Jennings were out. They've used CMC a lot this year, a ton, to the detriment of other weapons. They don't use Brian Robinson. They never use Garendo. They haven't used Cowing. They haven't used Watkins. They haven't used D-Rob. They have, since Kittle came back, they don't ever use Tonjes. I mean, they go to Kittle, CMC, and Jennings. And if I thought that those 3 guys could carry them all the way through, I'd be like, who cares? Let them keep going to Kittle, CMC, and Jennings. But I kind of think this is a game where this would be a great opportunity to get Brian Robinson really rolling. If you win this game, first of all, if you lose this game, it's a nightmare. If you win the game, but you win it with the same cast of characters doing all the heavy lifting, it's a win, but it's not necessarily a great step forward. If you can win this game without CMC doing a lot and Brian Robinson is just rumbling, or, without JJ doing all the heavy lifting, maybe Bourne gets going, maybe Watkins gets going, maybe Ricky Pearsall, hey, maybe he gets going. If you could get this win and then get a couple guys that really aren't contributing to contribute, or get the 49ers to run the ball a little bit more efficiently. The Niners won against Cleveland, and McCaffrey had a decent statistical day, but not when you looked at his yards per carry. He was under 3 yards a carry. He's been under 3 yards a carry a bunch this year. He's been under 10 yards, under 4 yards a carry 10 plus times. So he hasn't really had that many games where he's gone off for 4, 5, 6 yards a carry. If you really are going to win this thing, you're going to have, your defense is not good. You're going to have to dial it up. Your offense is going to have to carry the load. You're going to have to score more points. You're going to have to be more dynamic than what they are right now. Right now, it's a solid offense. They're 16th in points per game. They're 11th in total yards, but they're not running it well. They're 25th in rush offense. They're 6th in pass offense. They're possessing the ball in the top half of the league, 30 minutes and 27 seconds per game. But offensively, they could be better. They could get this rush offense really going. If you really want to kick butt in December and January football, it's based on defense, special teams, and run the ball. And right now, their defense is coming on a little bit. They're getting some better rush from Cleve Farrell, from Keon White. The young DBs are coming together. I think Mustafa and Brown are getting better every single week as a safety tandem. I'm so encouraged by them. They got a lot of momentum right now. The Niners are doing some good things. And on special teams, this is the best special teams coordinator and unit they've had in a long time, going back to the Harbaugh years, to Brad Seeley, the professor. So they're in a good spot on special teams. Robert Saleh's got them improving on defense, though they're still kind of a flawed unit. And offensively, this is where they can really step it up. They can be better than they have been offensively, and they can shoulder a bigger portion of the load offensively going down the stretch. So I'd love to see them win, but I'd love to see them, not just win, but how about let's win with Brian Robinson? Let's win with Ricky Pearsall having a 100-yard day. Let's win with Garendo touching the ball. Let's win with Bourne touching the ball. Let's let some other guys touch the football so that you don't run Kittle and JJ and CMC into the ground. It's like Christmas. That kid, at Christmas, he gets 15 toys, but he's got that one toy that he loves. And that's Shanahan. He's got a bunch of toys, but he loves his Christian McCaffrey doll. And he always plays with his Christian McCaffrey doll. And Kyle's mom says, hey, Kyle, you may want to play with those other toys. You're going to break that Christian McCaffrey doll. Then you're not going to have that to play with. Yeah, I love my Christian McCaffrey doll. I'm playing with my Christian McCaffrey doll. And he just keeps playing with it and playing with it and playing with it. Now the arm's falling off. And now the head's dangling. Now the hair's falling out. The pants fell off. I've lost one of the shoes. What has happened to my Christian McCaffrey doll? Oh, Kyle played with it too much. And and that's kind of what it feels like. It's like you spread it around. Win the games and do whatever you got to do to win the games. I get that. But you tell me you can't win the games with Brian Robinson? You can't win the game with Kendrick Bourne? You can't win the game with Jordan Watkins? You can't win the game with Jacob Cowing? Find some of these other guys. Spread the punishment around. Spread the physical abuse around. So there you go. That's my quick thought on the matchup. I also I'll stop sharing that. So welcome back. Here we go. I'm back. The other thing I wanted to do today is I want to show you my latest mock draft. You say, Krug, get a life. I know. But for some of you who are into the draft, and I get a lot of draft questions throughout the week, and Krug, when are you going to start doing mock drafts? Well, I'll do them with other people in the off season. But I do want to share the screen and show you one that I did last night. and it's a little. Let's see. It is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Okay. Um, and this is just I'm just messing around, and I'm watching a lot of college football, putting together the guys that I like and who I don't like, the prospects that I like, and looking at these mock drafts, seeing where these players are ranked. It's all speculative. It'll all move around. There, we haven't even had the bowl games. We don't even know who's declared fully for the draft. Then you got the All-Star games. You got the combine. There's just a lot. There's a lot of machinations and movement. But I'll tell you, some of the best mock drafts I do are this time of the year. Now, why is that? Why do I feel that way? Well, because look at it this way. You're evaluating football players playing football. The games are going on right now. Now, today, there's only one game, Army-Navy. Kind of a bummer, actually. I love Army-Navy, don't get me wrong. They're playing in Baltimore today, but it's just, it's just kind of a deflate. Do they really have to give Army-Navy the entire day to themselves? Like forcing us to watch Army-Navy? You couldn't put one really good football game in this window. We have to. You're forcing us to watch Army-Navy. I mean, it's not the worst matchup, and it's a cool game. I was on my bucket list of sporting events to attend, and I went to an Army-Navy game in the snow at the Link in Philly a few years ago, and it was a very cool experience, and I'm glad that I went. And thanks to USAA and the sponsors and all the people who paid for us to go out there. But it's not a great watch. It's usually a low-scoring game. The under almost always comes in. If you're looking for a betting angle on Army-Navy, bet the under. The under is almost like it's like a rule. I think you can look it up, but the under is cashed like I don't know, like 18 of the last 20 years or something like that. It's pretty regular. Oh, somebody says we got Boise State in Washington play tonight. No, is that true? Let me double check that. I wouldn't mind seeing that. A little Boise State Washington action tonight. Did we get that? I thought it was exclusively Army-Navy. No, you're right. Oh, hey, the LA Bowl. I'm there tonight. Washington given 10. That's a big one. That's a lot of points. But I like Washington. Washington looks good to me. And Boise's always good, but they're better in their place usually. My slight lean would be to the Huskies right there. Okay, so I got something to do later. 5:00. 5:00, Boise State, Wazoo. By the way, today, welcome to Saturday, December 13th. It's 9:28 at 10 a.m. I'll be going live on KMBR, so we're only going to be here for another half hour or so. Big Saturday. Man, I got so many things. I know a bunch of you guys. I met a bunch of you guys at the Krug Show meet and greet. And by the way, I'll put the call link in the chat here. So if anybody wants to jump in via the calls, you can do that. We don't do that a lot, but you know what? We're going to do it today. So there you go. At 9:29, I have 2 links there. If you want to call in, feel free. Give us a call. But today is December 13th, right in the middle of the Christmas shopping season. I have a daughter and 3 sons. I have 4 kids. And I have so many things to do today. I mean, I can't even tell you. We got to put up the tree. We got the tree, but it's been sitting out front soaking. Somebody told me the key to a healthy tree is to soak it in Sprite. Has anybody heard that wives' tale? Put the soda Sprite in there, and supposedly it's good for the tree. I think I heard Murph talking about it on the KMBR morning show. If anybody has a way to help out, as far as, do you know anything about making your tree better by pouring not just water, but maybe a little Sprite in the stand? I don't know. Well, wait a second. We got this one, Kenny Powers. Sprite works. Yes. Look at that. Some guys, I think you've been lied to, Krug. So there you go. This guy says Sprite would bring ants. Great. Now I got to call Clark's. They're spraying. Now the dog's unhappy. Got to be careful. Don't you spray around where Penny walks. If you somehow accidentally kill our dog, Clark's, I will be very upset. Anyway, but yeah, no, I got a ton of honeydews today. I've got, gifts I got to buy. I'm in grab bags with family members. I got to inquire as to needs and sizes. I've got to get this stuff done. Some of this stuff's got to go back east. So it's got my wife's act. I mean, you would think like Christmas is like, a tsunami coming. It's like we have 45 minutes before the waves start to pound the shore. It's like, honey, it's going to be all right. It's going to be okay. Things are going to be good. None of these holidays have ever been bad. They've always been pretty good. Everybody gets kind of what they want. She's like, thanks to me. The general. Anyway, I do have a lot to do today. I've got to put up, we got to get that tree put up. We got to get Penny washed. Thinking about, I got a bunch of gifts I got to buy. I want to go get myself a lacrosse stick because my kid's going to play lacrosse. And now I want to be able to play catch with them. I looked at my stick and it's my high school stick. And it's like, okay, well, first of all, it's a defenseman stick. So I got this long shaft. And then do I sit there and, my pocket is just so, it's been in the garage for 20 years. To say the pocket is a little stiff doesn't even speak to it. How do you unstiffen a lacrosse pocket? I'll just ask the chat every question today. All right, what should I do with my Christmas tree, chat? How do I loosen the pocket on my lacrosse stick that has been sitting in my garage for 20 years, or do I just throw it away? Anyway, I got a lot to do today. I got dog deals. I got gift deals. I think my kid's got some kind of a lacrosse practice I got to take him to. I got college football later. I want to grill something possibly. I've got the KMBR show coming up for an hour from 10 to 11. The great Todd Husak will be in the house. Anyway. And there's always great comments in here like, stop jerking off, Larry. There you go. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's a good one. That's a good one. I really do. I feel like we've all grown from having that comment appear on the screen. We got a couple supers in the house. Alex the Ghoul. One thing about Larry and Damon, they'll give you flowers when you do good, but boy, will they rip you up if you give a lousy or poor performance. Yeah, dude, that's kind of sorry. That's the name of the game, I don't kiss anybody's ass. I try not to. I will if I think it's appropriate, but I'm not here to kiss people's butt and tell everybody, blow sunshine up everybody's butt. I'm also not here to bury the team. And if you're sitting there going, well, what's your agenda? Do you have an agenda? Yeah, I have an agenda. My agenda is I want and need the 49ers to win. If the 49ers duck out, don't make the playoffs, the channel's not going to do as well. If the 49ers go to the playoffs, my bottom line is no different than you, the fans' bottom line. We all prosper when the 49ers make it to the playoffs. We go to the bank together, as they say. So, yeah, do I have an agenda? Yeah, my agenda. Some people are like, oh, you're rooting against them. What? Do you ever watch my channel? Would I even bother devoting this much time to anything if I hated them? Would I bother watching every single practice and every single presser if I dislike the 49ers? I'm having more fun. Anybody who knows me knows, I used to scout football players. I loved it. I left to have a family and raise my kids, and I've done it. And I've had a great radio career. I've got some more radio announcements coming up here in 2026 to talk about. Very excited about what's coming up on the radio side for me. But you know what? Kev and I started this YouTube channel in 2022, and this is it. This is my primary thing. I love it. I love covering the Niners. As you guys can tell, it's a labor of love. I hope you can tell. I love it. What's my favorite thing to do? If you can't tell, my favorite thing to do is to go to the Niners, go to the pressers, maybe ask a couple questions, go watch practice. I don't need to watch practice every single day, but I do need to watch practice every single week. So I know what I'm watching, and and then I tell you guys the truth. And then I love it. My favorite part of what I do is I go into the locker room and I talk to the players. And I don't care if it's Kittle or McCaffrey. I love talking to those guys, the stars, Fred, Brock, all the great players. But I get just as much enjoyment talking to those guys as I do the guys on the practice squad and the guys on the bench. And I think all of their stories are really interesting, and I try to bring them to light, and I try to highlight some of those guys. I really think the guys are good dudes. I mean, I that's where I'm coming from as far as people say, what's your perspective? Where are you coming from? To me, I've always, going back to, when I scouted in the Canadian League, I've always liked the players in football because, especially guys, the kind of the back end player, because you got to work at it. And football is not about Sunday; it's about Monday through Saturday. It's about the process of football, and that's what these guys love. And so anyway, I love bringing it to light, and I don't want to sit in a studio. I've had opportunities to do radio and be like, hey, you can sit in our studio. No, I don't want to sit in your studio. I want to be out. I want to be at practice. When the 49ers are at training camp and everybody's running around, I don't want to be in a studio talking to some guy on the field who's watching practice. I want to be that guy who's on the field watching practice. And I'll call the studio. We can talk about it, but I don't want to be, in a studio crap. I don't want to be a kept man. I want to be out and about watching things and seeing it for myself and covering it, boots on the ground, as I like to say. So it's been awesome. And I love the YouTube channel, and I'm loving it more and more every day. Alex the Ghoul, thank you for that one. We got this one from Shrek. He says, Dr. Seuss, line of children's holiday books and others. I will have, Sam I am. I will eat my eggs and ham, Sam I am. I used to love Dr. Seuss as a kid. Regular Dr. Seusser. All right, so I'm going to share the screen real quick here. We're only going to be here for another couple minutes. Here is the latest on my what I'm throwing out mock draft wise. And before you sit there and go, where's the offensive tackle? Okay, yes, there's some really good offensive tackles in this draft. Some of my favorites though are guys that aren't going to go in round one. So I like this kid Xavier Chaplin from Auburn. And they had him like in the 150 range. I took him at pick 139. He's got a wrestling background. He can play right tackle or left tackle. He's got really long arms. He did it in the SEC. To me, Xavier Chaplin's a very, very good tackle prospect. Now, he's not going to go in the first round. He's probably going to go in the mid rounds, maybe on day 2, late day 2. So you don't have to go round 1 with a tackle is my point. Where I think the Niners, when push comes to shove, they're going to look on their defensive front again. And to me, I love Caden McDonald, who's kind of like a better, bigger version of DJ Jones. He's really, really strong, but he also has quick feet and can rush the passer. I've looked at a bunch of different options at that first-round pick, but as it sits right now, I love this kid, Caden McDonald from Ohio State, and I wouldn't pass him up. I mean, to me, this is a 3-down defensive tackle. This is your new DeForest Buckner, is Caden McDonald. Really like him. And in this mock, he falls all the way to 26. All right, round 2, I've got Cassius Howell from A&M. He's a 6'2", 250-pound defensive end with kind of short arms. So you sit there and go, well, he's going to get engulfed. And, people were talking about the guy who went to the Ravens this year who was a little undersized. He got kind of engulfed. Okay, possibly, but you know what? I watched this guy just bend the edge in the SEC and just dominate. Cassius Howell off the edge is really, really good. And to me, watching, yes, would you like a 275-pound guy? Yeah, and we'll get one later on here. But I also want somebody who can burn the edge. I want somebody opposite Bryce Huff, who, if Nick Bosa's done in week 1 next year, I'm really, really confident that this guy and Huff can do it. And that's if Huff's even on the team next year. Hopefully he is. And to me, Cassius Howell is a lot like Bryce Huff. Speed rusher, bends the edge, this guy can really heat up the edge from in the wide 9. I think he'd be ideal. So Cassius Howell, and I don't think he's going to be there, to be honest, in the second round. But in this mock, he is, so there he is. Third pick, I took Darrell Jackson, the big defensive tackle from Florida State. And this is just, I was watching film the other day of some of the best defensive tackles, and Jackson is just a beast, just a monster. He can get off the ball. He's bigger than he's a little bit taller than McDonald. He's got long arms. To me, you don't really have a dominant defensive line until you got a bunch of guys inside that are really dangerous. And Darrell Jackson from Florida State would be just that. Pick 126, I took Jalen Kilgore, safety from South Carolina. I love this kid. He's a hitter. He can cover. He's a great athlete, amazing athlete. Kilgore is going to be an impact guy. Now, I just told you, I love Jair Brown and Malik Mustafa, and you got Siegel, so it's not like you have a real need for Kilgore, but I'm just going best available. This guy's too good, man. This guy's a big-time player. He can run. He can hit. He's heck, you want to put some kind of sub-package and some jumbo 3-safety look. Let this guy play kind of a pseudo-linebacker. He could be like a Derwin James. I love Jalen Kilgore. I think he's a star. All right, pick 138. In this mock, the Niners had 3 picks in a row, or 138, 139, 140. At pick 138, one of my favorite players in this draft is Penn State's undersized defensive tackle, Zane Durant. And to me, Durant is the undersized defensive tackle who can run is now kind of in vogue in the NFL. And Durant is, I think, one of the best. He's got great balance, great lower body explosion, great speed, freaky athlete. This guy looks really good. He's about 285 pounds, so he's smaller. But you play him next to a Alfred Collins, next to a C.J. West, next to a Caden McDonald. Play him in a rotation. Zane Durant is, just think of everything you've gotten out of Kevin Givens times 5. He's, undersized interior pass rusher from Penn State who could absolutely rush the quarterback. So you can't be dominant against can't be a dominant defense rushing the quarterback if you don't have some big-time guys who can get to the quarterback inside. And Zane Durant is that. So that's where my focus is. Pick 139, I took Xavier Chaplin. As I said, he's got the wrestling background. He's a tackle. I really like him a lot. Pick 140, I took Tyreek Sapp. Now, this is your big body defensive end. So this is your first and second down defensive end. This kid's he's a little short, 6'2", but he's about 275, and he's jacked. And Tyreek Sapp's a great athlete, tremendous upper body strength. I really like him. In a rotation, he would be fantastic. And then I had 2 7th-round picks, and I took Ted Hurst, wide receiver from Georgia State. I doubt he'll be there. Big kid who runs in the 4.4s. This is a really good-looking wide receiver prospect. I expect Ted Hurst probably going around 3. But right now, he's in round 7, and so I'll put him on my mock draft. He's an awesome small school guy. Georgia State is an underrated program. This kid's a freakish athlete, ridiculously long arms, 33-inch arms, massive hands. I mean, we're talking about 10.5 to 11-inch hands, huge hands that are so big that before I even looked at the hand measurement, I just watched him, and I'm like, oh, that guy's got huge hands, huge hands. I mean, if you can see the size of a guy's hands off of a football tape, he's got big hands, and this guy does. So he's got huge hands. He catches the football. He can run after the catch. He's got spin moves. He's 6'3". He's 4'4". Ted Hurst from Georgia State. Love Ted Hurst. And the last pick is a big back who I think would be a great compliment to CMC. Mark Fletcher Jr. for the Canes, 6'2", 228 pounds. I also really love Mark Washington from Arkansas, but he was gone in this mock, so I took Mark Fletcher from the Canes. And he's a 228-pound, 6'2", running back who can run between the tackles. Really, really like him. All right, so there you go. There's the mock draft. And as far as, I was also looking I wanted to see, the reason I did this exercise, I wanted to see who do they have in the undrafted column. That's interesting. And I'll give you some of the names that they had in the undrafted group. Marcel Reed, the quarterback from Texas A&M. Really like him. Haynes King, the quarterback from Georgia Tech. Noah Fafita, who was T-Mac and Cowing's quarterback at Arizona. Now, he's a backup, but I love the fire of Noah Fafita. I mean, he's a little guy. He's 5'10" or whatever. He's not an NFL starter. He's more of an NFL backup. But, man, I love Noah Fafita. Go watch his film. Running back-wise, Le'Veon Moss from A&M, Jamal Haynes from Georgia Tech. They both in the undrafted class, according to this mock. Sam Roush, the tight end from Stanford. R.J. Maryland, the tight end from SMU, both listed as undrafted. To me, there's two late-round tackles that I would have a lot of interest in. J.C. Davis from Illinois, who's a Bay Area kid. He went to McClymonds. He's an Oakland guy. He's 6'5". He's 315. He's a great athlete. I really love that as a day 3 steal. And then also Emil Wagner from Notre Dame. They list him as a day 3 offensive tackle. I think that would be a tremendous steal. Couple receivers that I think are absolutely going to be steals if they're undrafted. One is Malachi Fields, who started at UVA. He's finished up this year at Notre Dame. Now, he's a big receiver who doesn't run very fast. But who does that sound like? Juwan Jennings. And you're going to let Juwan Jennings most likely walk in free agency. So finding a receiver or two that can catch the ball and contribute right away would be nice. Malachi Fields, if he's there on day 3, that's a great pick. And then Dylan Bell from Georgia, another kid I really, really like. Hold on just a second. I've got to. Sorry about that, but just really, really kind of stuffed up here in the winter months. So yeah, Malachi Fields, Dylan Bell, Anto Saka from Northwestern, the defensive end, is supposedly going to go undrafted. Eric O'Neill, the defensive end from Rutgers, I love him. Mikhail Kamara, the little short defensive end from Indiana, you'll see him in the playoffs. He's great. And then linebacker-wise, Mohamed Toure, the linebacker from Miami, Bengali Kamara from Kansas, Raylan Wilson from Georgia, Daniel Wingate from Maryland. All those linebackers can absolutely play at the next level. None of them are supposed to be drafted. As far as day 3 undrafted safeties, Notre Dame's got a guy named Adon Schuler, who I really love, a safety. Colin Wright, the corner from Stanford, is an interesting corner as well. I think that he's probably going to go undrafted. There's some good receivers. Besides that, Nick Harbor, Noah Thomas, Deuce Robinson, all considered to be undrafted guys. So it could be a really, really interesting draft. So there you go. Just a couple thoughts on the mock draft. All right. Let's hit a couple more here. Lick Scorpion says, Larry, I better be singing San Francisco Flowers in your hair when the clock hits 0-0 in the fourth quarter. Super Bowl victory. Let's do it with a touchdown Dougie by Brock Purdy. Little Brock. Should Brock do his Dougie, the whole thing? Hands out front and all the deal. That would be great. Claude Daddy Arcades. He says, we're making draft T-shirts this year. We'll read Krug's Draft Red Flags, bad body, skinny calves, short arms. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Claudaddy, we're thinking about maybe traveling on the road in the playoffs. Could we be possibly off to Chicago? Maybe Philly. Those are the places I want to go. I don't want to go to Detroit. I don't want to go to Tampa. I don't want to go to Charlotte. But I wouldn't mind going to Chicago. And I wouldn't mind going to Philly. And I wouldn't mind beating Philly in Philly. And I wouldn't mind beating the Bears in Chicago. How enjoyable would that be? 49er Fisherman, Krug, how can I call in? You know what? It's probably beyond the time to call in. I'll do it again, though. I'll put it in there because we're going to have to get out of here because I got to do the radio show. But I will put it in here. And let's see. Where is it? Hold on. I will put it in the chat. There we go. There we go. So all you got to do is click the link in the chat. And you're immediately going to be in there. But as I said, we're only going to be here for another 5 minutes or so. because I've got to jump over and do the radio show. Todd Husek's going to join me over there. But yeah, there it is. It's in there. We'll do some call. I want to do some call-in shows. I haven't done the call-in shows this year just because I've been busy. But we got Eric. Eric wants to jump in. What's up, Eric? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, Krug? You know what? I have listened to you for a long time. I listen to you. I listen to Grant. I listen to Chapman. I listen to Ant. Lombardi sometimes, but it's a little too positive on Lombardi end. You're one of my favorites, man. And what I like about you is that you give it to us real and you pride yourself on that. So you're not going to get a positive spin, you're not going to get a negative spin. You're going to get what is. And you're just super loyal. Like I love the fact that you prop up Grant. I've met Grant before, and let me tell you something. One of the nicest guys. I met him a year and a half ago. He got off the phone, stopped what he was doing, walked back across the street with me, posed the pictures. We chatted. We were chatting about the IU contract at the time. Awesome guy. And I also have to say this, and sorry if I'm boring you and talking off your
No,
ear,
no, no.
but I don't watch a lot of college football. I don't watch a lot. By the way, I like the fact that we planned our shirts today. Hey, go blue, right?
There you go. I'm working I'm rocking my Cali Muscle shirt today. I figure you throw a shirt that says muscle on it, you don't look as fat. I mean that's kind of my rule of thumb. Any shirt that says muscle on it, they're like, that's a big guy over there. He's kind of muscular. If it said fat ass on there, then So I wear with the Cali Muscle shirt to just try to throw people off my scent.
Krug, you're jacked. What are you talking about, man?
Two plates. I did you 5 reps the other day of 2 plates.
This many times. And let's see the mitts, man. You did the one time you're like, I've got these huge mitts. I was like, I don't want to mess with that guy. I
can't palm a basketball. Where's my basketball? If I had a basketball in here, I can palm a basketball. In high school I could dunk a tennis ball. Now I can't dunk anything. Now I'm dunking a donut in my coffee. But hey, man, I got to jump because I got to get over to the radio side in a minute. But thanks for jumping in. Where are you calling from? Where are you hanging out right now?
Yeah, so I'm from the LA area. My wife and I live in Santa Clarita, and I've been a Niner fan since I was 5 years old, since 1983.
That's awesome, man. So when Kev, who runs my channel, was a senior in high school, Northgate High School played one game against Santa Clarita High School. And really? I drove down there. Kev went on the bus. I drove down there on a Saturday. It was like early in the year, it was like September. Santa Clarita High School had a big quarterback too, like 6'5", 6'6" kid who was playing college ball. I forget what his name was. But yeah, we played in Santa Clarita, drove all the way there, watched the game, did the In-N-Out drive-through, drove all the way back in one day. Santa Clarita.
That is a far drive. There's a few.
It was a long drive, but it was
like Hart High School. Like
I couldn't miss my kids. I can't miss. I love watching my kids play sports. I mean, I would drive to the moon to watch my kids play anything. I love it. So my wife's even like, "You're going to drive all the way to Santa Clarita?" I'm like, "Hell yeah! It's going to be awesome." Are you kidding me?
I don't doubt it. What's cool is like not only like your knowledge of football, but like just listening to you, I can tell like you're a good father, you're a good husband, and you're a good man. Like,
I do try to be a good father. I try to be a good husband. I try to be a good boyfriend to my girlfriend. I try to be no, I'm just joking. Hey man, Eric, have a great Saturday. If you can catch, if you go to iHeartRadio in 6 minutes, you can catch me for an hour on the radio on KMBR. But thanks for jumping in, man. Appreciate you. Of course.
Thank you, brother. It was just a pleasure to chat with you. Big fan, man. Thank you. Hey, have a great rest of your Saturday. I'll try and catch on our iHeartRadio as well.
Thanks, man. Have a great one. The great Eric checking in from Southern California. All right. That was cool. That's going to do it for us. Let me just throw out a quick mention for our sponsors. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Also, thanks to Sleeper, big fan of Sleeper. 49er football season is presented by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chat, season-long leagues, and, of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. Use promo code Larry, and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. And also, I do want to thank our good friends at Habbas Law. Habbas Law has been a great sponsor of the Krug Show. They're so rooted in the community. Omar, Tarek, and the Habbas Law team, they're awesome. Between all the different things they do, pet adoptions and loaves and fishes, and just so many of their initiatives are so cool. I love Omar and Tarek and the Habbas Law team. Check them out, habbaslaw.com, 1-800-INJURED. If you need a great PI attorney, these are the guys to call. They're fantastic. If you want to win, these are the guys to call. If you want to beat the insurance company that's saying, you know what, we're not going to pay you because of X, Y, and Z, these guys know the script. They know how to beat the insurance companies. Give them a call, 1-800-INJURED. They will fight to make it right. Or you can check them out on the web, habbaslaw.com, HABBAS law.com. Thanks to Habbas Law. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show. We got this one from 49er Fisherman. Thanks, buddy. You made my day. Absolutely. Glad to see you, Eric. Thanks for jumping in. Wish we could have taken more phone calls and have more time. We'll do that when we get really into the calls, because the calls are maybe one of my favorite things to do. I always love taking calls on the radio, but when you take calls on YouTube, it's more interesting because you can see the people, you can see their set, what their backdrop is, and it's kind of cool. It adds quite a bit. So thanks to the people who do call in, and rest assured that when we do these call segments, I'd love it if you guys all called in. And it's cool too because you have people in different parts of the country, and you get to hear their stories and that kind of thing. So anyway, that's going to do it for us. Thanks. Join me on the radio. We're coming right now on the radio, 680 on the AM dial, iHeartRadio. Peace.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful.